Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Kickstarter Coaching and our internet TV show Crowdfunding Coverage. We do a quick recap every month of what's going on in the crowdfunding universe, and today we'll be talking about April of 2016. In April, there were 12 big campaigns of $750,000 or more that got funded. These big campaigns brought in about $22 million in April. The biggest campaign was for an air lounge thing for a beach and poolside that raised about $3.8 million. So we'll talk about the news, and we'll also cover the 8 big campaigns. We pick out 8 to talk about each month. For the first time, all 8 raised over $1 million this month, so another indication of the strength of the crowdfunding universe. But first, the news. Forbes had a nice article in April that you can Google this headline and read the entire article, but they were profiling 10 big companies that got their start on Kickstarter. And people know about the Oculus that had a successful Kickstarter, and later the company was bought out by Facebook for $2 billion. But there's many other examples. Let me talk about 10 in this article if you want to have a look. Soon, equity crowdfunding for Main Street, what they call the Title III part of the Jobs Act, has 3 interesting aspects, concerns really, that this article talked about, also in Forbes. They talk about the crowd is not fully public because it has similar tombstone requirements, if you're familiar with how the SEC regulations have been in the past. Limits to how you can broadly promote what you're doing. There's also limits on how much individuals can put in. There's different levels depending on your income and net worth. But even wealthy people, there's a limit that even if you're really rich, you can only put it up to $100,000. And lastly, there's a lot of requirements for filing and disclosures that may impact you if you feel like you have proprietary special sauce kinds of things that you want to protect. So there's some issues with the equity crowdfunding as well. We had a birthday. Kickstarter turned 7 years old in April, so congrats to the team at Kickstarter. And again, the SEC equity crowdfunding stuff is becoming effective in mid-May, so there's some articles about this back in April. This headline you might want to do a Google. It leads to a nice article that has some of the details about equity crowdfunding and the rules and limitations and so on. But the big 8 campaigns we're going to talk about, they range from $1.6 million to $3.8 million in size. The video length ranges from 2 minutes, which is just about perfect, to 10 minutes, which is rather long. In this particular case, the people are crowdfunding for a feature-length film, so the rules for them are a little bit different than other people making their video. The length of the campaigns ran from 30 days to 58 days. The general wisdom seems to be 30 days or so is the optimal term for these things. Reward levels 5 to 84. Don't do 84 reward levels. Having been through the process a few times, it may sound good when you're putting your campaign together, but when it's time to fulfill your obligations, 84 just is a frightening number. And the updates range from 7 to 17. This is an internal communications thing between you and your backers, where you can send them a message or text and images, videos about how the project is coming along. Good to send one of those out once or twice a week when you're working on your campaign. The campaigns themselves. The first one is Crwdfndng. This is to teach small children about the idea of coding. It's all very tangible with little different shapes and colored chips that represent different code commands. It looked like a really good way to teach youngsters about how to do coding. This campaign, they use supplemental videos to good effect to explain what they're doing. They also use the GIFs, the mini videos with no sound to show things. And they have video testimonials. If you are far enough along, your product is defined, shown people, and they really like it, and they're willing to be on video, this is very powerful stuff. Next, we have the Trinus. This is another 3D printer. Some of the unique aspects of it are all metal construction, it's affordable, and 3D printing is very big. Again, these people use supplemental videos and GIFs as well. They also had competitor comparison charts showing the costs of their printer and features versus their competitors. And they had add-ons. So by using add-ons, they were able to keep the base price of their printer very low. So this I thought was a very good strategy because not everybody needs the add-ons. So for those who don't, the price is low, and it's a nice thing that you can promote starting at a low price. Next, we have the Field Skillet. This is for the people that love the cast iron cooking. My wife among them, she's big into the cast iron cooking. These people, with their product, they are offering a lifetime guarantee, which gives confidence to the buyers, the backers, that you're going to stand behind the product. They also talked about it being made in the USA. People like that. So if that's the case in your campaign, be sure to let people know that. Similarly, they use recycled iron in their cast iron. So they were talking in their campaign, they use recycled materials. The green movement is quite big. So if you can talk about the green elements of your product, I think that's a very good idea. As a small company with limited resources, they apparently were concerned about their ability to deliver, all these skillets at the same time and all that kind of thing. So what they did is they tiered their offering. They had 7 different time periods when the skillets will be delivered, and they positioned that in their campaign. So, and these numbers aren't going to be exactly right, but for illustration purposes, instead of promising to deliver 7,000 skillets in a certain month, they were going to promise to deliver 1,000 skillets each month over a 7-month period. This way, they keep things manageable to where they have the resources to deliver on what they promise. So I thought that was a good strategy. Next, we have Code 8. This is a feature-length film. They raised $1.7 million to do this movie. It was a people with special abilities movie, a little bit of a Fantastic Four-ish kind of a concept. Some of the things they did on their campaign is they had a nice budget breakdown, showing people, why they needed so much money to make the movie, where the money is going to go to. This is something you should consider doing, especially if you have, good tight budgeting, have a good handle on it, and you're willing to share them. They had a nice referral contest with tracking, so whoever referred more people to the campaign, they had ways to track that through the crowdfunding platform that they were using. This one happened to be on Indiegogo, and they were posting on the page of their campaign, who was winning the referral contest as the thing unfolded. So sort of a reward thing, some competition, good idea to get the crowd, on your side and help them promote the campaign. Also, they had some big rewards in their campaign, $25,000 rewards, $50,000 rewards that people were taking. So if you are in a situation where you have a substantial campaign and have an idea for a big reward that's a high dollar reward, consider go ahead and putting that in your campaign. Sometimes those are taken. Next, we have the SpeedX Leopard bicycle. This campaign was quite successful, raised a lot of money. Obviously, it's in our 8 campaigns that we're talking about. It's a high-tech bicycle, space-age materials, design, some cool electronics in the bicycle. And you can learn, all about it if you go visit their campaign. But from sort of an overview perspective, they use stretch goals effectively. They had 7 of them that they reached. They guaranteed their product, which I mentioned on one of the earlier campaigns. They also had a return option, which is a little bit rare. That basically, if you don't like your bike, send it back, we'll refund the money so that you'd only be out like the shipping costs for the bicycle. So this shows confidence in the product. So consider doing something like that, especially if you have a higher dollar product. You know, if you're doing a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign and your product is $50, there's less concern on the buyer's side about, well, is it a good product, will I really like it, than if your product is a $1,000 product. So if you have a higher value product, I think offering this return option makes a lot of sense because it is a little bit exposure for the buyer. It's a big product, they haven't seen it before. So consider the ramifications of offering something like that, a return option. Lastly, they talked about the development history. And some campaigns have a lot of this stuff, the original idea and the prototyping process and that kind of thing. This can also be helpful to show that you've thought it through, you've put a lot of effort in to prepare to make a good product if you share some of that stuff. Next we have the OLO. This is a very unique idea. It is a 3D printing project, and this small device that you see here sort of fits over your telephone, and it detects the 3D printed information it needs by looking at the screen that's displayed on your smartphone. So sort of your smartphone becomes the brain of this printing that goes on. It's a little difficult to explain. You can go look at their campaign if you want to learn more about it. Like many of the other campaigns that were so successful, they used supplemental videos and GIFs to really explain what they were doing, how it all worked. They also were quite transparent about their expenses, what it was going to cost to do the whole thing. And in this particular case, they used a GIF to show this information in like a little, sort of mini movie form. The thing. Usually people do like a pie chart or something, but they had an interesting GIF for that. And something that isn't really shown all that often on these things is to add next steps for the company. What they plan to do in the future. This is kind of interesting because the subtext here is that not only is your support helping them with this product, you're helping get the company off the ground, which will facilitate future products. So in this case, they have ideas about expanding this offering to make larger 3D printers that instead of, for example, using like a smartphone as sort of a platform that it works from, but maybe it'll work from a tablet, so you can make bigger objects in the future with the company. So that's the OLO. Next, we have some interesting headphones. Headphones are making a bit of a resurgence, and the audiophiles like some of the unique characteristics that headphones offer as opposed to regular listening or earbuds and so forth. Once again, these people use supplemental videos and GIFs in their campaign. They used multiple early birds. I don't think I've talked about this month, but this is basically price breaks for people that come into your campaign early. So you're rewarded for being one of the first people to sign up. They also talked about corporate partners that they had in their participation. This, I think, is interesting, especially if you have a complicated tech product that people might be concerned about your ability to create it. If you have partners that are working with you that have real technical chops about that they really know what they're doing, I think that's good to share if you have that in your corner. The big campaign of the month was for a somewhat simple device in many ways, sort of a high-tech 21st century air mattress kind of thing. You can see in the image here, it's sort of 3D set up off the ground. It had various unique attributes, but fundamentally a fairly simple product. They raised $3.8 million, big bucks for something like this. Some of the ways that they did it is they offered it in multiple colors. A lot of campaigns don't do this, and sometimes it's not that hard to do. Give your buyers, your backers, a choice. People like that. And actually, this campaign was on Indiegogo. So the biggest campaign of the month was on Indiegogo. So congrats to them. Some other things that they did is they had a delivery guarantee. They said in their campaign that they promised that the first 10,000 units will ship in May. this is a little bit similar to what I was saying about the cast iron skillet campaign earlier on. They are segmenting their delivery by saying the first 10,000 will go by a certain date. There's an implication that the others may be later. And also they're guaranteeing when the thing will be delivered. It shows confidence. And so in a product like this, maybe the optimal use time might be the summertime at the beach. So you want to reassure your buyers that they'll get it in time for the beach. Another aspect of something like this might be, if your campaign was going to deliver, say, around Christmas this year, then maybe you want to offer a guarantee that it's going to ship in time, for Christmas. They also had two buttons in their campaign that had extra information for specialty users. So they had like a button for retailers. So instead of putting all this information that only a retailer might want scattered through the whole campaign, they sort of sequestered all that in one button, so that like you click on that button only if you want that stuff. And they did the same thing for press, a certain button that members of the press could pick for, I don't know, high-resolution images of the product or whatever else they might want to be offering specifically to the press. So congrats to them. Big campaign, $3.8 million. That's it for our show covering April of 2016. Roughly a month from now, we'll be having our show covering May, which will presumably have significant coverage of equity crowdfunding kickoff in the United States, pursuant to the Title III thing, the equity for Main Street. Thanks for your time, and we will see you a month from now with our next show. Take care.